So hope everyone is doing good and you all can hear me. I hope everyone can hear me. So if I'll see one message whereby somebody can say that they can hear me, I can start with today's topic. So still we have 1 minute left. So I think in another 1 minute we shall start. So I'm seeing so many people joining in and most of them I am known also. So good evening once again to all of you, and I am thankful to the virtual lawyer who has given us this platform to today on this most current topic, which is of utmost importance, different from the law, but yes, from the practical scenario, this topic has its own importance. So myself, Nitesh Mehra, I am practicing advocate in Delhi High Court and has been practicing for the last 10 years. So let me start with today's topic. It's about justice delivery in the digital age, the use of technology in delivering the justice due to COVID-19 and the shortcomings which are coming while doing these matters digitally, be it be the highest courts or maybe the lower courts. The practical difficulties in all the forums are almost same. So friends, we have gathered here today to discuss about the greatest existing challenge to the legal profession due to the outbreak of COVID-19 and to the legal fraternity. Not only this, there exists a great threat for the continuance of the survival of the bar. The basic problem lies at two levels: the struggling of the lawyers at the basic earning, and that now the large number of legal professionals are start quitting the profession. It is not only about the problems which we are facing, but at the same time we have now seen that the challenge has been accepted by the bar and they are trying to accept the digitization of the justice delivery system to the some extent. So COVID-19 has almost brought the entire world to the near standstill, and India's justice delivery system has also been badly affected by the same. What we see that the situation is unlikely to improve soon. All the courts across the country has been operating in very restrictive manner. The mode of such system of operating the court is of course the digital mode. With the spread of COVID-19, most of the industries having to adjust their normal practices of conducting businesses. The legal profession is also no such exception. For anyone who has a pending case or a legal issue that needs attention, communication with the lawyer is also crucial at the same time. Under the normal circumstances, we all are aware that we used to do normal face-to-face consultation between the client and ourselves. But to prevent the further spread of COVID-19, many attorneys have also sought to minimize in-person contact with existing and potential clients. Fortunately, we as in this legal system, the advocates, are finding the ways to implement effective precautions while still providing the legal assistance to those who are in need. Why I am saying here those who are in need? Because at present our system is only accepting those matters which are of really urgent nature. The Indian judiciary has been widely praised for its independence. the firm stance in India's courts have taken in upholding values enshrined in the detailed and opulent Constitution of India, which is universally recognized. The manner in which the Supreme Court of India has stood up to the executive during the political corruption is simply an exemplary. It is also exemplary to see that how seriously it took up the concerns of the COVID-19 and then trying to digitize all the matters throughout the country. Operating in one of the world's most populous nation, it needs serious efforts to turn access to justice into a really provide individuals with the tools to exercise, and more importantly it should be done effectively. Early on, the judges in India understood that they should not take a textual approach, and now rather they should also come to the machines to dispense the justice, as it is important at the same time when the COVID-19 is been outbreak. So, after the spread of COVID-19, both individuals and institutions began to behave differently. And what was this different behavior? It was the digitization of the courts. Now, the social distancing in the new rule, and what we have seen that in the midst of COVID-19, the first court which has first time set in the online was the United Kingdom, the House of Commons. Not only that, even our India's Prime Minister has also started interacting with the chief ministers of all the states through a digitized mode. The Supreme Court of India and many high courts have heard many online cases during this COVID-19 period. The Kerala High Court was the forerunner in this, who on March 30th had passed orders for some urgent matters in a first there of the live streamings of the proceedings. So, media reportings now clearly reflecting that now there is an emergence of different variety of judiciary. COVID-19, which caught hold of the whole world, no doubt, it not only shocked the lawyers, the litigants, judges and the administrators of the justice. Still, the coronavirus has the potential to recalibrate India's judiciary, provided we have the political will and an action plan to digitize the courts from bottom to the top. The crisis can also be an opportunity to the many. As we have seen today, that in Delhi, of course, now all the courts have been started functionally normally through the digitized mode. So, the word urgent has now been little bit lifted up, and the importance has been now given to the matters to be taken up which are not at the stage of the evidence. Now, I will tell you that the most affected industry due to this lockdown was the advocacy and the barristers' offices, as they are the one which had to open. The marginal appearances through video conferences cannot be set to the victory of the digital age. What we need is the speed, bandwidth, internet to success the digitization. Some of the remote areas in the country are still not having the electricity. Where do we talk about the justice through digitization? That is seriously a very important concern. Digitization of the court is not merely about the modernization. The point in its democratization, technology, Eric. Sometimes I have heard that John Carrot wrote, "People will find being connected virtually makes us feel more equal with the access to the same basic platforms, information and online resources." People in all the societies have disputes in advanced legal systems. The dominant approach to resolving them has been to instruct the lawyers and appear before the courts. But with the internet, advanced hardware and cutting edge software coming on stream, the days of fetching up in a front of a judge with bulging case files in the beginning change, though rather faster in the some parts of the world than the others. So the most visible problem which is now was that the piles of paperwork that are hard to reference and often even harder for the parties to access has now been solved if we see in the manner of a digitization. So it was the courts in England and the Wales which completed the transition of the digitized mode fully in April 2016 itself in all of their civil courts. So if we see from the point of India, we are still very new to this system of digitization and the dispensation of justice through digitization. Although the government consultation is being held on many fundamental rethink that how a civil justice can be delivered through the digitization mode, when we have now not yet come to the stage of evidence so far. If we say about one country who is one such country who has already did all in way back, that was it, Turkey. Turkey won one award of UN's public service across all judicial functions, whereby they have already developed a system of digitization where the courts are already paperless. The practice of holding court hearings through video conferencing has been criticized by some quarters on the ground that system does not adhere to the concept of open courts. Yes, there are certain shortcomings which are need to be taken into consideration as fast as possible, otherwise the system of dispensing the justice through the digitization can be a defeat also. Many other lawyers have complained that they are facing varied problems with regard to the justice through the digitization system, as the basic like the sending of their PDF file of their applications to the convincing a judge on the urgency of the matter and then address arguments through a video link. According to one data which I have seen today, as far as 538 matters was taken on board by the toppest court of the country during this period, besides 297 connected matters. So one of the topmost judges in the Supreme Court of India, who has been actually, we'll say, a pillar bone of this digitization, was Honorable Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, who said that privacy in the digital age faces challenges from hackers, private companies, government. The judiciary has to deal with the balancing the right to privacy with other and supplement existing legitimate frameworks. So Justice Chandrachud divided it into three parts. What are those challenges of privacy which has to be taken into consideration while delivering the justice through the digital mode? First was the hackers, second was the private companies, and then the government. So the first is that there is always a possible of serious breach and misuse of personal information. Second, that the data may be used to profile people and to discriminate against the vulnerable groups. Third, there is a chilling effect on free speech and disclosure of information. The Apex Court judge said in adding to his speech which he gave. So now how to use this digital mode in the client-attorney relationship? So first important thing is the phone communication. The lots of attorney-client communications have already been started occurring over the phone, which were earlier also. Some law offices have remained open, so attorneys and staff are available to take the calls as usual. However, many firms have opted to close their offices for the time being and rerouting the calls to their attorneys and the staff who are working remotely. Now, the another mode is also there, that's email and file sharing applications. With the availability of the email and file sharing applications like the Dropbox and the Google Drive at present, you can usually avoid having a physically handoff of any paper or document to an attorney. Documents that are scanned or photographed can be downloaded and emailed or shared between the attorney and a client. And the another mode which I have also personally now started is a video conferencing, whereby phone communications have certain limitations. So even we have also started in our law office the digitization of internships, and we have been giving an online internships for the last 3 months. Over the period of last 3 months, we have seen that this online internship is a great help to the students who are there in the far off states and want to do the internships with the good law offices. So by giving them work and by addressing to their problems through video conferencing, we are certainly finding out a way to make many of those learn who otherwise do not get a chance. So video conferencing is especially useful when the communications involve more than two people, or the situation where someone needs to share his or her screen with regard to some data. So in that it is very useful. Now I would also like to discuss in our today's session that what is the effect of COVID-19 on legal industry. With the spread of COVID-19, most of the industries have to adjust their normal practicing. The legal profession is also no exception. So, whereby most of the employees were announcing their retrenchment, the aftermath, the very easy phenomena to go with. Since the inception of COVID-19, employees across the industries have been staring significantly pay cutoffs, and if not layoff. Undeniably, the new normal is what controlled right now. The rising spectre of salary loss had inadvertently had to rethink upon the financial planning and the goals of anyone, whether it be a law firm, whether it's a legal industry, whether it's a job, or be it that it may any private office, all have a direct impact through this COVID-19 outbreak. So the level of difficulty which is felt by the legal firms as they were making the switch to remote work during COVID-19 will depend upon the two things which are most important. One is the court appearances and then that of the age of the clients. Because some of the clients are over and above the age of 60, so naturally those are taking more care and precautions and are not able to appear before the courts. Many cases have been adjourned, cancelled or postponed, and some courthouses have been shut down. That has eventually happened when the outbreak was there. Essential activities like criminal bond hearings and family cases involving the maintenance, interim maintenance, domestic violence, child custody, the visitation rights are still occurring, but non-estable court cases like evictions, workers, personal injury, etc. have mostly been put on hold. So the reason behind putting those cases on hold was that to avoid the personal contacts, not to open the courts, and so therefore to dispense the justice through the digitization mode. So much as the legal world, if we talk about, COVID-19 has triggered fear among both employees and employers about the continuity of the employment and the operations of businesses. Even if the lockdown is lifted in the near future, its impact will be felt very long, and not only in our legal profession but everywhere. Some business enterprises are already closing down. Some of the law firms have been closed down. Many could not have paid their heavy rents as there was no work. So the legal profession is not an exception, but the most worst affected sector during the COVID-19 is the courts are not starting functioning fully. And by that I mean that they are not operating functioning fully, and therefore every lawyer who was only dependent upon the practice for their livelihoods are certainly suffering. So what should be now the approach is the most important question. And what would be the situation after the lockdown is completely lifted, or we can say when the vaccine arrives? The quantum of litigation would definitely expected to go up the post COVID-19. So we have now to take out the alternative digital settlement mechanisms such as digital mediation. So not only those urgent matters should now be taken up, there shall be the mediation process which was earlier going on in our country when the courts were physically fully functioning. Those should also come as through the digital mediation, and those shall be used to solve the cases as expeditiously as possible. Particularly the cases which are related to the tenancy, employment, deferment of the loans, and the interest chargeable. And to handle the cases of litigation efficiently, the across country special courts and benches, in my opinion, should be set up in the digital mode to consider the matters up till the recording of the evidence of the parties. For that, still we have not developed such a system so secured, so confident, which could have been emerged so far, so that we can take all the matters there. So, as of now, the digital system which we are having, so that system is dealing with the cases, those cases up to the extent of evidence. So, now the directions have now come up from the various high courts and even from the apex court that the cases in relation to the final arguments or where the evidence has been completed can be so taken up with the consent of both the counsels so that the matter can be disposed of and justice can be delivered to the parties. COVID-19 also necessitates amendments to a number of existing laws to make them contextual to change. The legislation, in my opinion, which needs to be rethinked after the COVID-19 outbreak are the Indian Contract Act, Indian Evidence Act, Intellectual Property Rights, Labour Laws, Disaster Management Act, Epidemics Act need to be reviewed, align them with the changes of the economic and legal framework. The most important was during this period which we have seen the interpretation and the enunciation of force majeure. While the justice was being dispensed through the digital modes, a clause which came in a rampant throughout the country was the force majeure. Most of the contracts, when revisited, they have been seen that all of them were not having this force majeure clause. Some of them must be having, but when we came to the most popular disputes, which we say the tenant landlord, then in that case we have seen the agreements do not contain force majeure clause. Some of them said that some of the provisions of Indian Contract Act would remain applicable on them, and that outbreak of COVID-19 situation is such a situation which has to be dealt like that the contract cannot be enforced. So the courts took up the matter and held that no, this was not such a situation. If the position of law could have been that, then it was upon the tenant to have left the property and have then asked that now he is not entitled to any rent as alleged in the contract. But having been using the premises and then raising a defense that due to the COVID outbreak there was no work and he cannot pay it now, that was not available to them as there was no force majeure clause of such a nature present in their agreements. So, while delivering the justice through the digital mode is definitely a new idea which has been accepted all over the country, and most of the topmost lawyers of the country are finding it feasible to do the matters. But certainly it has certain restrictions. One such restriction is, which I have earlier also discussed, is the bandwidth speed. While today I was arguing a matter, I have seen that the other side could not see the learned judge's voice So that was a technical itch which could have been happen anywhere. Another was like I argued a matter for almost 30 minutes. Then I got to know that the honorable judge has not able to listen whatever I have said. So I have to frame and again start. So these problems would certainly lie at the different ends unless and until there could have been a proper mechanism brought out to see that the digitization is there all over the entire country. Seemingly, and making it a limited establishment and VC hearings could not be said to be a dispensation of justice. Because, as we have all heard earlier, that justice has to be delivered at the doorstep. In India, there has not been such a mechanism where we can see at the grassroots level there has been such proper infrastructure so as to have the internet facilities, then the computers installed, so that the cases can be argued by the lawyers all over the country. Such a system has not yet been developed, it is still under the process. So now, not taking this thing to the very long speech or something, will say that it will be a boredom, I would be concluding it in three phases. Firstly, the efforts which shall be made. So, to in reality, to see that the efforts shall be made not only at level of the bench, but at the same time by the Bar Council of the India, the Bar Council of the concerned states, and the bar associations attached thereto, who shall make necessary endeavours, arrangements for the appearance of the advocates through the digital mode, that is VC. Overall, with this we can conclude that one has to keep in mind the India's population while introducing any new policy for the implementation of those where we can say the justice requires to be reached. For me, the use of technology is not low hanging fruit. Considerable work has to be done integrating and linking the systems of data all over the country, which can harmonize the procedures and creating user-friendly digital structures. For instance, if I'll give you one example, that's of United States. The legal system began using the technology a decade ago. It requires a meticulous planning and the implementation at the grassroots level, which is comprehensive and capable enough to take care of all the possible disruptions of the system and could cause instead of reinventing the wheel. So, in our view, there is no harm if our Indian government or our judges of the top court sent a committee to those countries to learn from them that how their system of digitization is working so quickly and so fast. What we have seen in the past time, that one platform has been chosen to get the matters heard, and the limitation in that was that it would be certainly for some particular time, and then there would be a new link which would be generated. So that's again a shortcoming. So these shortcomings has to be go by, because in the midst of arguments, when you are through in your matter and you are making arguments thoroughly on some point, you don't want yourself to be disrupted. So these things lack at the level of technology certainly disrupts you when you are arguing in the court at your best. So this digitization should be a phase-wise digitization so that it can be good for the dispensation of justice. But if we start making to put in a pipeline, a thorough system which is yet not prepared, and it is taken up till the bottleneck, so this bottle would be burst. So there should not be much pressure to throw the entire system into the digitized mode, and the legal pipeline shall not be choked. The efforts shall be made to have a smooth working and functioning, and not the disturbance of the justice delivery system to every individual. I may finally say that the delivering justice through the digitization may be an alternative, but it cannot be a replacement in a country like India to the physical hearings of the court. There are many challenges and shortcomings in the sense of digital literacy, I must say, has to be brought before making it a mandate in the courts. To me, to my personal opinion, the matters can be taken up till the stage of the evidence where the miscellaneous happenings are to be done. No doubt the scanning can be done. The hard file can be later on submitted in the court, but not a mandate. It should be an alternative, not a compulsion, because we in India has many shortcomings as far as the technology is concerned, as far as literacy is concerned, and many of the lawyers who are not acquainted with the legal digital system, who are not using these laptops, who are still not using the smartphones, are now deprived to appear in the courts. So this profession therefore is standing at a verge challenge of its, which has to be resolved at the earliest, be at the level of the bench or be at the level of the bar. But there has to be some polite system for both of them by which this wheel can move on and it can run on the roads. With this, I would like to conclude, and I would see to it if any questions are there. So it's most welcome to them, I can answer. Yeah, there is a question from Siddhi Mittal. She says the practical aspect is definitely there, that when we are connecting via the VC, many a times so many technical glitches that the date gets wasted, no doubt. You are absolutely correct, Siddhi. These technical glitches has to be first fixed in, because Honorable Court cannot sit on that side and let's wait for the other side to have their internet connection gets better and then start hearing the matter. So it's a sheer waste of the judicial time as well as the system. So for those, there is no bandwidth or there is no particular speed of the bandwidth which is not set as of date. So these technical glitches would remain coming. So for this, there has to be a system which has to be drawn from the side of the court of the link in which they are providing, or on the portal which they are getting the system dispensed with. Any other question with any of the viewers? It's most welcome. If you have any questions, kindly post in here on the chat box. I'll see and I will give answers. So, are there any questions? So there is another question that why no live telecast for the general public. So the Kerala is the first court which has given the decision of the live streaming, and the system has yet been in its development. So it's not like the live streaming is not there. Yes, they have taken up the system, they are doing it, and they are soon coming up with the links that yes, you can see the live streaming of the courts very soon. Another question is by Kajal, why till date courts are unable to decide upon the live telecast of court proceedings under normal circumstances too, and despite of decision isn't being effectively implemented. So you are absolutely right, Kajal. The system has to take a call now, since you are trying to give and dispense the justice through the digital mode. So why not the digital mode should be open to the public. But again, as said by Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, that there are certain restrictions to it. Unless and until they come up with a security policy whereby it would be seen that the data is not hacked and there is not unnecessary intervention, there is unnecessarily intervention during the court hearings. So when then system is fully developed, they would definitely be coming up of the live streamings, and they should do it at the earliest. Thank you, Kajal. Yeah, another question has come up that is also a very good question, that why there is a reluctance to fill the judicial vacancies in this COVID time. The prime most concern, I think in my opinion, should have been on this, because the justice dispensation system through the digital mode requires more young, new, talented judges who can easily deal with the digital manner, and they can dispense the justice in a quicker mode. Because as of now, because the lack of literacy of the digitization, there could not have been a proper e-system which has been developed, and that's why it's been lacking somewhere or the other. So yes, the need is very urgent. The government shall take a call on this, and our high courts, under whom the different judicial examinations are there, they shall soon conduct it and have more of the judicial officers for having this judicial system fully developed through the digitization mode. Thank you all of you. I think with this I end with the today's session, and thank you the virtual lawyer once again. Hope to see you soon again on another very informative session on another topic. Thank you so much.
और इसे रिसेट क्यों